Hi.
Hello. Hello, everyone. It's Sunday again, and nice to meet you all. Yeah, today will be me, Philip, and Nicole.
Yes. So it's our podcast session again for tonight.
Yes. Okay, shall we start now, Nicole?
Yes.
Yeah, officially, yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to join us tonight. Here you're listening to Proppy Podcast Season 2, The Message in a Bottle. And we are having our episode 14 today. And I'm your host tonight, Philip.
And I'm Nicole. So this Message in a Bottle Proppy podcast series is brought to you by Proppy app, the world's first home and property-based Omni app. Proppy app, where dreams come home. We are sending out messages of hope to inspire others to do the same, to make a difference in people's lives and to create changes.
Yes, and by using AI technology, Proppy app provides you a platform where you can list your property and property-related services and let customers reach you easily.
Oh, how does it work?
Oh, it's very easy and very user-friendly, Nicole. Proppy app is using geotagging function. It will show you the nearby service providers available to you. And Proppy app is now available in App Store and Google Play Store. So to all our friends out there, if you haven't downloaded Proppy app yet, please go to the App Store and Google Play Store to download it.
Yeah, please check your Google Play Store and App Store and search for Proppy app, right? Proppy app. So you can download it. It's free now. So we welcome everybody come and register the account with Proppy app. And also, please like and share the Proppy app Facebook page. And for all the friends out there who are listening to this podcast now, please share this podcast with your friends too.
Yeah, and also besides Proppy app, please also check out Community 360 app. Community 360 app is an app designed for people who need help to get help, and also for people who are fortunate enough to provide help, to give help by doing donation or doing voluntary work. All right, let's start our segment 1, almost anything right now. Hey, Nicole, what are we going to talk today?
Hold on. Yes, this is our episode of today. Hi, Phillips. All right. So welcome to our segment 1, almost anything. All right, Phillips, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Have you stayed in any apartment or condo before?
Yes, and I'm still staying in a condo right now.
Okay. So have you ever encountered, let's see this, the similar problem, like what has been facing by this group of residents here? Okay, let's see the picture.
What kind of problem?
Yeah. We wait for the picture. Yeah, can you see that?
Yeah, this was a news on 27.
Yeah, August. It looks a bit blur here. I hope you can see. Okay, this is about an incident. Actually, you see this is okay, the news from this freemalaysiatoday.com. So what happened here is the residents of these apartments are rumbling around about the poor management of the apartment. Okay, we all know that every condo or apartment, they have their own committee members who are selected by the residents, and through the annual general meeting, the AGM, the committee shall be elected in every year. So if there's no AGM, that means the committee members will remain the same. So there are a few problems arisen here. Let's see if any one of you have encountered similar problems here. Okay, what's the problem? Number 1, this group of committee, all right, they are delayed in holding this AGM. So even has been instructed by the City Hall's Commissioner of Buildings, which is the COB, they are still reluctant to hold this AGM. Okay. So number two, they are facing many maintenance problems such as this water leaking and malfunctioning of lift. So can you imagine if you are staying in the condo or apartment, the lift is malfunction, what happened to you? You got to, yeah, you got to walk up with the staircase, right? Oh my God, it's so frustrating. And every month we are paying the maintenance fee, but we cannot get the good facility.
Yeah.
Okay. So number three, the issues are like transparency for the tender process and also for the pricing of the work. Yeah, I think this one is a bit serious and very important, the transparency.
Yeah, this is corruption already.
Yes. If there is any evidence, yes, that they can take any further actions. So, and lastly, number four, because of a delay in holding this AGM, so the financial statements they have not presented to the residents at all. So again, this is about the money issue. Yeah, so as the resident, we are paying the monthly maintenance fee. Everyone wish to stay at a well-maintained property, not only just to have a very comfortable home environment for ourselves and our family, but also the most important part is to increase the. Sorry, is there anybody haven't turned off your mic? Please check. Somebody is talking. Okay. All right, we continue. So what is most important part is this can increase the property value. So we have to maintain very value for all the apartments and condos to
the
actually
property
the value.
Really counting on the management one.
Yes, that's right.
Whether for homeowner or investor, we all hope that our property could give us good return after all.
Correct.
And Nicole, I want to share you a true story from my personal experience.
Okay, all right.
Okay, the article that we read just now, about 12 years ago, there was a condominium in Penang, quite famous one, okay? That was facing also quite similar problem. The issue was also corruption and then not well maintained. They even, the residents even have found evidence that the company that awarded the CCTV installation and all the CCTV facilities were the company of the chairman and chairman's wife.
Okay.
Okay, so they were caught red-handed in corruption, misuse of funds, and the most terrible thing is they refused to step down or they didn't want to resign. And some of the residents who are more vocal, they became like activists, you know. They knock all the door and they distribute leaflet and to tell all the residents the stories and ask the residents to attend and pressure them for EGM so that we could kick out the management. So to me, there was like a general election and the residents were very angry with them and even vandalized their cars.
Wow, that was seriously unacceptable.
And managing a condominium to me is like managing a small country.
Small country.
Yeah, if it is managed well, the citizens will be happy. Like Singapore, the government is managing them well. So even if the citizens they have a lot of complaints, their issues are usually less serious if comparing with things that happen in such as our country.
Yeah, I agree.
There are a lot of things we can learn to improve our condo management here. And let's talk about this in the next segment. Okay, stay tuned.
Yep. For the segment 2. All right, welcome to segment 2, Breaking Broadcast. Tonight, let us have better insight about all these management issues. All right, as a resident, what is our right? Okay, how can we deal with all these problems to make our home better?
Yeah, tonight we have specially invited a guest to share further on this with us. He is a registered valuer and appraiser, estate agent, and property manager. Currently, he is heading a boutique property consultancy firm Asia Cat Valuers and Property Consultant St. Berhad.
Yeah, in addition, he is also a licensed auctioneer. He has about 10 years of experience in real estate industry, ranging from estate agency, property management, auctioning, and valuation services for banks, corporates, and individual clients. Let's welcome our guest, Mr. Ao Yong.
Yeah, Mr. Ao Yong, welcome to join our live podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Hello.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
Hi.
So, Mr. Ao Yong, many of us, especially those who are staying in KL, Selangor, and Penang, are commonly staying in condo or apartment. While managing a property isn't an easy task, frankly say. So, as mentioned by Philip just now, it's like managing a small country. Yeah, just like what happened in the news just now. So, the AGM problem, I think this is not the first time I heard about this kind of issue. So can you share with us what can be done by the management team if the AGM is not held after a year, or maybe we say after the due date?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can.
Okay. I think this is this is not totally uncommon having these problems, because there is managing a condo or a strata scheme generally can be quite complex. We're talking about managing human beings. There's a lot of different stakeholders here compared to just managing a building. Actually, building is very easy to manage. I say it's better of facilities and all that. But because of the stakeholders in this sense, you have a lot of people, the MC, the JMB, JMC, a couple of people, and then you would have as well the residents and parcel owners or even tenants are not happy with what's going on. So we still can go back to the act or the law or the rules in particular, because we have quite a comprehensive law in this case, which called Strata Management Act. But having said that, there are still condos who are unable to meet the deadlines or yearly, what you call AGM, annual general meetings, for many reasons. Sometimes one of the reasons could be the account is not ready and all that. And the last 2 years, because of MCO, is make things even much more complex in that sense. But as long as COB is allowed, COB allowed for, I think you can delay that, but otherwise every year should have one AGM. So what Philip had mentioned just now is pretty interestingly, in the sense that there are condos who's not holding it because of mismanagement. But in general, the argument is that whether it's a real mismanagement, is actually in compliance with the act, or it's actually there's something behind the scene that is very hard to comment yet as a whole. We are humans beings, so unfortunately sometimes the perception play a role, and there are people unhappy with certain people, so there's a lot of politicking that can be a nightmare for people like us managing buildings.
It all down to politicking actually. Human interest.
So that's a scary part of it. But we, however, say that most of the condo I will see, we are also a property manager, in particular property management firm. So we manage a couple of buildings as well. So we generally say that people have good intention, I would say, unless you've proven otherwise. But as long as you comply with the rules and all that, transparency is very important, as Philip had mentioned before as well. So that's something that we advocate as a property management firm. So we will review whatever that need to be reviewed. We will inform the resident and stakeholders what is going on, and decision making are basically majority of the council members approve, and it has to be documented, it has to be minuted, and be sent to COB for filings. All these things will make things much more transparent. However, say that because managing buildings is a very multifaceted matter. It could be ranged from a very small little thing from security, cleanings, to a very complex matter of changing of charges, sinking funds, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I can tell you the whole night. I cannot finish this story.
Yeah,
Correct,
experience,
correct.
You know.
Long story.
Yeah. All right.
So that's what we can think of. But probably we can go through later on. Why is the role we are playing as a property manager in that sense?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mr. Ouyong, we heard a lot of people are saying that they have poor management team in their condo. So can you share with us how is a good condo management team work actually? What could they do?
Okay. I guess condo management, it really depends on, it is a very general terms. It depends on which one they are referring to. Sometimes they could refer to the management as the managing agent, or what do you call that, the building manager, or it could be probably what they mean is the MC. So it's just like, it's no different from like a company. You have a CEO or the management team run the whole thing, and you also have board of directors. In equivalent sense, that here we have a managing agent, MC or JMB, which is like a board of directors, and you have a team of people down there, to like a building manager or like us that managing for them. So when I say management is not doing well, and it really depends on, we are talking about the top level or actually the management level. So, but those people who's not involved, they probably would always think that, oh, management as a whole, sometimes is people like us, who's the property manager, we take instruction from the board, so-called, from the management corporation or the joint management body, if the title is not issued yet. So if the management thinks that they don't want to do that way, so that is what we have to follow, as long as within the guidelines or the compliance law. So whether it's good or not, it really depends on how we look at it. But as far as a good management is concerned, I would think very importantly, firstly, they have to be in compliance. That's one. And they have to do what's supposed to be done to improve the quality of life or the community as a whole. And they need to manage the financial position of the condo well. Security is a very big concern. Cleaning, safety, those are the things. But of course, you were talking about buildings wise, you talk about maintenance, preventing maintenance, correcting maintenance. Is the lift working all the time? The response time, whether repair is done accordingly. So those are the area that we have to look at. So whether the management is good or not, if you don't like the management, say for example, if any parcel owner don't like the JMB or the MC as a whole, you vote them out. It's just like a government. The good thing here is that we have a law says that you can, all these need to be elected every year. It's unlike our government, you have to wait for 5 years.
Yeah,
so,
through the NGM.
Yeah, so through the annual general meeting, or even you can call for
EGM
to vote them out. You don't like them at all, but of course you need to have a certain amount of votes in order to get them through.
Yes.
I see. All right. So we do heard that a lot of owners who don't pay the maintenance fee. Okay. So what are the action can be taken against all these owners actually?
Okay, that's a good question. I think it's stated very clearly in the law or in the act, in a sense. It's very clearly, it's the obligation of the parcel owners or the owners in general to pay the maintenance fees. If they fail to do so, in another word, they are violating the law. Okay. So what is the recourse for the management corporation or joint management body to to recover this outstanding? There are a couple of ways. One is that the most conventional is issue a letter of demand through your lawyers and ask them to pay up. Otherwise, we could also issue. There are a couple of processes we need to go through, of course. One of the processes, of course, we have to send reminders to them, and thereafter, after reminder, what do? We have to also call them up and remind them. Maybe sometimes they are just miss out or so. So unless they are serious delinquent paymaster, so they don't want to pay you, what can we do? There's a couple of things. One is that we would put up a list of defaulters in the notice board at the condo or the strata scheme. Then thereafter, after we call them as well, some people call it a shame list, but we don't think it's more like having everybody to know who is paying, who is not at the same time. So that by doing that, most of the time, the good paymaster will pay up. But of course, there are people who refuse to pay, they will continue. So what next we can do? We can actually limit the usage of common property facilities, like usage of the gym, access card to the badminton hall, and all those stuff. So that is one. But of course, having said that, we cannot stop them from getting access to their own unit to enjoy so-called enjoyment of their own condo or their own private properties. So they probably have to need to register before they come in, since their access card is not being is deactivated in a sense. The next thing we can do as well, we can file a claim against this defaulter at the tribunal, so-called strata management tribunal. So to claim from them, strata tribunal is actually equivalent to a court. So the court will decide whether are they supposed to pay that which they are not. So those are the things that we can do. But of course, we always advocate the fact that if we can collect the money properly, we will try to collect it rather than go through a process. But there are super bad paymaster, you have no choice but to do that, because it's very important. These are not what they call profit oriented body. We need the money to pay the leave, to pay for the utilities and all the expenses. But of course, there are some people who just don't understand. But I think the awareness is getting better nowadays compared to the last probably 10 or 20 years ago. They are not happy with it. I'm not going to pay you. So you're not happy with it, you can file your complaints or so, but you still have to pay it. So that's what it's supposed to be.
That's later.
Yeah, correct. Philip was saying it.
Then how about for tenant? What will happen if the owner did not pay the maintenance fee? Then anything will happen to the tenant or not?
Well, of course, the tenant is, you ask a very valid question. The tenant would have an issue if owner refused to pay them, to pay the maintenance. So if we were to do, let's say, deactivate the access card, so it will very much inconvenient to the tenant. So the tenant chances that they're going to call up the owner and say, hey, what is going on? Why you didn't pay? And now I cannot get to my unit. I have to, my friend come visit me. I cannot use the access the
tenant very picky.
Cannot enter.
So there's also no reason for owner don't pay us because they're collecting rentals for sure, isn't it? If they don't pay us, something must be wrong. So there is another way. The tenant can actually pay up first and deduct from the rental in order to not to
the most direct
inconvenience them. So I would say that the tenant have very little rights. If they don't pay up, they can't complain if the owner not paying, which is the owner duty to do so.
So that means maybe the tenant just direct deduct this maintenance fee amount from their monthly rental is the easiest.
That's right. That is the easiest way.
Yeah. All right. So on the other side, for the problems that happen between the units, okay, let's say for example, the upper unit is having this water leaking problem, and then the water flowing down and causes damage to the unit downstairs. So what can the owner do to plan the damage against these upper units?
Okay, this is what we call is a very common issues that property managers like us handle day in and day out. Interfloor leaking, that is something that we face all the time because as building go older, there's leakage in between, and especially a bathroom.
Correct.
Those things that happens.
Yeah.
So it's a day in day out thing. Of course, Nicole, your question is that what can be done, right?
Yes.
So it's actually prescribed in the law as well. There is proper process that can be done. So the management under the act, the management office in general or property manager like us, we have to determine the cause of the leakage. Of course, the whoever suffer from it will have to report to the management office, and the management office, which if it's run by us, will have to come in and make appointment with the upper unit and the lower unit to assess, let's say the ceiling is leakage and all that. Whether it is come from the top floor, very likely a lot of times is from the leakage of a pipe, or the interfloor leaking come from the floor itself. So we have to determine the cause, whether is the waterproofing is giving way and so on. So once it identified, we need to advise the upper floor. In this case, they say, for example, the upper floor has a problem of pipe burst, say for example. So the obligation lies on that particular unit to do so. And whatever he do, then he have to pay the own cost, of course. So it should not be longer than a reasonable amount of time. So it's very clearly stated, but of course their owner sometimes it will take a longer time. If we really still not doing what they're supposed to do, then we'll have to file a complaint to the Commissioner of Buildings, and they will come in again. If anything that not done by them, the lower floor can do it and claim against upper floor. But of course, the role of the property management company or the management agent or management office here is to coordinate this, but we cannot do the repair for them because it's the internal unit's problem by themselves.
Yeah, only coordinating only.
Yes, correct.
So that means the upper unit, they have the duty, like can I say so, to repair it.
Correct.
To repair it. So what if he don't want to repair? He's not staying in that unit actually. Maybe it's his tenant or maybe his relative or friends. He's not staying there and he don't care. And the damage caused to suffer is actually the downstairs one.
Correct.
Yeah. Then
so that's why I say it's prescribed in the act that we will escalate the matter further up by filing the complaint to COB, and they will have to come in. But of course, there are owners who still do not, all these things. You probably have to do whatever repair from downstairs first, probably injection of PU to stop the leakage, while to further file complaints against them. Whatever damages that have been delayed or so is the claims will be against them.
Okay.
Mr. Aoyong, a lot of time we heard about the insufficiency of management fee and sinking fee. This caused a lot of problems to the residents, especially to those unrepaired issues which bring inconvenience to all the residents, like lift breakdowns, lighting malfunction. So how could we justify the management fees actually, and can we challenge about it?
Okay, that's a very valid and good question. As a matter of fact, I think there are condos who really run on deficit. That means it's what they call insufficient of funds, which is the funds is actually resources in this case. So if they are really run out of money, we have to look at what is the reason. I mean, we have been consulted and to look at what is the problem. So we have to identify what is the issue. Are they really have not been revising their spending budgets, or they are not collecting enough, or sometimes in the budget is enough, but the collection rate is not high enough.
Yeah, collection problem.
So a poor collection could range from 50-60%, but you still have another 40 to 50% of charges have not been collected. So you're unable to carry out the kind of maintenance work or corrective maintenance work, particularly. Let's say lift always break down and all that. And your vendor will not want to come in, you don't pay them on time. To be fair to them as well, right? So we got to look at what is the issue. It could be, as I say, maybe there are money who are out there you have not been collecting. So that one is very easily solvable, because you just need to chase your defaulter access card. You do a lot more things, so the chances they will pay up. But those who really cannot, then you have to escalate to the next level, which is the tribunal. And further up, you maybe want to take them to the court as well, if the amount is large enough for you to take that. So those are the things that you have a recourse. But if, on the other hand, the second situation, if let's say that the amount of collection, even you collect 100%, is still not enough, then the MC or the JMB have to relook and whether should they increase their collection rate. So in order to do that, of course, you have to go through the general meeting, you have to get the approval from everyone at the floor. So they are very common if you have many years that run the same low rate, because of the inflation and the building become more aging. You will need to replace the lift, say, for example. You may need to do a lot more maintenance work. By running at the bare minimum, sometimes it's very difficult. You cannot always maintain the lift if the lift is 40 years old, say, for example. You probably have to refurbish the lift by using a sinking fund. That would cost quite a fair bit. Sometimes you go by $1 million project. You know, that, because, for example, if lift always break down, it can be very frustrating. For the user, for the tenants, for the residents. So we got to face the reality. We got to pay more. So if you don't want to pay more, you got to suffer like everyone. Basically, strata scheme is like stay in the kampong. Everybody have to chip in, have to be reasonable. Understand that things need to be replaced. Maintenance the parts need to change. Sometimes you skip on the short term, you suffer in the long term.
Everyone share the same interest.
Yes, correct. In the same boat
in the same boat.
So actually, not just about this collection, and also about this expenses control. That means, for example, let's say the leak breakdown, whether how they actually get this the most I wouldn't say cheapest, but maybe the most economic way, or the right budget. That, I mean, how do you think that in determining this the budget or the price is really a good price to proceed for this one, because every dollar and cents counts, right? So this is the part maybe residents also were concerned about, right?
Exactly. I think, Nicole, you also asked a very valid question. At the end of the day, we always say that the condo or the strata scheme would decide, and when they decide, you can decide as a whole in the general meeting. If it's not, they can decide on a normal basis, on an operational basis. They're decided by the council member, be it MC or JMB. Sometimes we as a property manager at our end, we will advise them what is the best to do. There is no right and wrong. Sometimes, some situation, say for example, you can drive a very old car and continue to repair every month. But you could also change the part as much possible. Or you could also change the car.
Change the car.
So, but
yeah,
within your capability, financially speaking, if you have the money, of course you change the car, right? In that situation, if you have somewhere in the middle, you better change good parts before it actually breaks down. If you really don't have, then this is the last resort, as we say. You keep on struggling in that sense. So all these three approaches, there's no right and wrong. But of course, whatever you do, I can tell you, there are residents might not be happy with it.
Sure, of course.
Reason being that you probably have, let's say, a condo, a medium-sized condo will have range from 500 units to 1,000 units. We're not talking about a bigger one. Some people will say, oh, why gotta change a new car? I'm okay. Don't increase my charges, right? Or somebody say, oh, I get another vendor can do it cheaper. Why you want to use a Mitsubishi vendor?
Correct.
They give you the parts. But I always say that we can't tell you that it's wrong or right, but the majority should rule in that sense if you cannot agree. So the principle of strata management is you agree to disagree in that sense. What does it mean when you agree? You agree so that everybody have a different opinion. That's one. But you also have to agree that the majority rules. You might not be happy with it, but the majority say that we should change to a new car. Yes, we should go ahead with that.
Yes, should respect the decision.
Yes, correct. So to come back to the question is that how do we optimize that expenses? You have to look at the short term. You probably have to look at the long term at the same time. You might save your penny, but you lose your dollar sometimes. So the decision have to come from the board, so-called in this case, the MC or the JMB. So we as a property manager will advise accordingly. You have a choice of a short term. You have a choice of a longer term as well. So, but of course, whatever you spend, make sure it's transparent. Make sure when you hit a certain amount, you should have an open tender. You should invite all your vendors that you think is qualified to come and do their job. That would help to get a better deal, as it says. But of course, people like us will have a lot more contact as well, because day in, day out, we deal with the same problems and all that. We probably will be able to recommend you a good, reliable vendor, because sometimes you just never know. You certainly get somebody who's very cheap, but at the end of the day, any problems come back, they'll just run away.
Maybe the workmanship is not good.
Or the work doesn't last very long. So you got to look at a couple of things other than just pick the lowest bidder or the lowest price in that sense. Yes.
So as mentioned just now, all these, for example, co-quotations from this supplier or these contractors actually fall under this property manager's role. Am I right? So can you share more about with us how to be say that the property manager is doing good, is doing well in what kind of sense? Yeah,
I think it fall under the role of a proper good property manager. A proper good property manager have a couple of roles to play other than just the financial management side, which give you the best deal in terms of your usage of funds or resources. We're talking about the top line. Say, for example, you have to make sure that the collections comes in on time, and you make sure that whatever you expense out is accounted for. There is just one part, the financial management. The other part is you got to make sure that the sub vendor actually do their job. Say, for example, your securities, are they doing the rounds? Are they controlling the flow of visitors?
Patrolling.
Patrolling. Your cleaners, are they cleaning it well and correctly? If they tell you they have 10 cleaners, are they really sending 10 cleaners to you? Sometimes they simply send 9 and then charge you 10. Say, for example, the swimming pool vendor, are they using the right chemicals? to clean your pool. Otherwise, you eat up your tiles, and so in the long term, short term, you might not see it. The next thing would be in terms of legal compliance wise, are you complying to the law, to the act as per se? Otherwise, sometimes that's why you see a lot of condos. Sometimes they're fighting each other because there's a lot of problems created. It's not complying day one. So they use a layman logic to manage it. They say, oh no, I just use whatever I think is correct. But as a whole, if you don't comply, then you got into problems.
Yeah.
You know,
they are not professional.
Yeah, they may try with their good intention, but because of the fact that, as you know, all these MC, all these GMC, they are volunteers. They are not full-time people like us.
Yeah, right.
You know, so when they are free, they come down. They're not free, they just go away. So in the sense that along the months and the days, they would have missed out certain things that can have a repercussion at the end of the day. Then the residents start to complain and all that. That's how the politics start sometimes.
Yeah. Then Mr. Ao Yong, can you tell us how people like you assist, how you assist the JMB and also the MC to manage their property?
Yeah, our role very much lies on as a professional service provider in this sense. Professional service provider, what we need to do is we will make sure that, as I say, there's a couple of things. We need to make sure financially managed well. We make sure that the vendor is doing the job. There's contract management, vendor management. We need to make sure that the whole building maintenance is being done, like leave, the M&E services.
So it's all operation
stuff.
Partner.
Yeah, operation is one part. We also take care of the HR part. In every operation, you will have a manager, you will have a clerks, you will have technicians and all that. So these are the headaches that we take in by paying us a fees, of course. You know, and we will conduct your meetings and make sure that we advise you accordingly. So that's the reason that we are here, and we have to make sure that we do our work objectively and professionally. Sometimes you may have argument between parties and all that. So we just make sure that this is done properly, the majority rules, what can be done, what cannot be done, we'll advise you accordingly. Because we are licensed property manager, then we will make sure that whatever we advise you is within the boundary of the law and what is allowable for, what is not. We won't want to get into trouble with the authority as well, because we have license to maintain. That's one of the very important reasons that property managers are in place here.
Important, yes.
Yes, so as mentioned just now, because most of the committee like this are volunteer, so I think property manager or all this property management company, they have to be really professional in provide all this advice to the owner, to the committee member about what to do, what not to be done, right?
Yes. I think professional things have to leave it to professionals. Although the volunteers they are good intention, but they just lack the skill, just lack the experience.
Yeah. I would say that it is correct. Sometimes people come with good intention, but they are not in the trade. They might not be updated as what we are, because it's our rice bowl. We need to make sure that all our people are trained. We control them.
Especially the legal side, I don't think those volunteers they will know unless they go and study thoroughly.
Yeah, some of them can be pretty well versed, I would say, but again, if we're talking about other resources other than just knowing it, they may not be a practitioner like us. We will have a lot of practical problems that we face, and how to deal with it. That's very important. Secondly, is that they may know the act, but sometimes it just doesn't work. How are we going to deal with it in the real life situation?
That's right.
Yeah, correct.
So when you are hiring all these property manager, actually what criteria that you are looking for?
When come to staff and all that, we make sure that they are capable of doing certain things, because managing, as I say, managing buildings is not difficult, but managing humans, stakeholders, is a challenge. You know, if you understand that in a management corporation or a JMB as a whole, you can have 14 people inside, 13 to 14 people sometimes. Everybody think differently, and all these people are parcel owners. They have different thoughts about things. The engineer will always bug you about, wow, this one M&E cannot, you know, and the accountants will tell you that there's the last cents that have to be in, and the teacher will ask you to explain to them, you know. So all these things, it's not so simple. And somebody or so, they have very diverse background. So we got to manage the stakeholders. So come back to your questions, that what sort of people is suitable to do this work? I think people have a certain level of patience. That's one. Can handle human. That's for sure. If they don't like humans, better don't do this work. Just stay in your manufacturing.
Must
or
be good
follow
in
the
PR.
Yeah, PR is
must
one.
be good.
PR is one. The next thing is, of course, you need to have the likings of managing the building, the maintenance, because there's always in a building, you may not see it, there's always some problems somehow or other. It could range from the leaf doesn't work, you know, the water tap.
All the minor problems.
Yeah, all the minor things.
Yes.
It can range from a very minor to a very big thing. And you have to have patience, and people might call you after work hour. So if you are able to take that kind of so-called trouble, you better don't do this job. So you need to have a lot of patience, and you got to learn what is the law and so on. You need to understand that part. A lot of coordination, of course. These are the few things now, and you're able to manage your vendor, because day in day out, your security sometimes will give you problems. They will tell you some story and not. You got to know that you're going to walk the side. Yeah, stories as in stories. Yeah.
Okay.
We always say that sometimes manager come to us and say, oh, boss, this one. They say, is the story or the fact? Kind of show me first.
Okay. All right. So lastly, before we end this segment too, so do you have anything else can share with all our audience here?
Yeah, I think you all have a very interesting topic today. I certainly appreciate that there are people who thinks that this is important enough, because
Really?
as a role of a property managers and managing property management operation, we're always in the background. If there's no problems, people don't even know you exist.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
But there's a problem. Who is that fella? Why he never appear?
That's right.
So when we jump up, already gonna scolded. That's a problem. I think if people would appreciate the role played by property managers and played by building managers, it will make our work much more easier. And of course, there are people who is much more reasonable as in it, because this role sometimes, you know, you have parcel owners, because every month they give you 200 ringgit. They think they are boss of the condo. that in the sense that, hey, we are property management firm. We have to listen to all these people. We cannot listen to this one side.
I pay you one.
Yeah. So the property manager have to take this. You cannot say, oh, I gonna fight with you. You can't. Sometimes it's part of PR
Patience.
and patient. They say, okay, we can understand this. Let's look at this and all that. So you gotta have the ability to take this kind of we won't say it's nonsense, but we say it's part of people thinking, and perspective is different.
Yeah, unpolite approach.
If you cannot take it, I think we have come across a building manager and say, oh boss, this guy really too much. You it's just like you are managing a hotel counter. You know, hotel counters is, oh, there are people who complain about things.
Yes.
So how do you resolve it? How do you deal with it? That's very, very important, I think. So to answer your question, Nicole, I think we always think that we want to do a meaningful job by providing a professional service to the residents, to the MC, to the GMB as a whole, objectively. But of course, we make a living out of it, however say that. So it is important to have good MC, good GMB to work together along the way with property managers like us. If your MC on the GMB cannot see what we professionals see, I think it's going to be very difficult. We have requests, want to scheme this, scheme that, and when things happen, say for example, you instead of supposedly you have 4 guards to man the place, then you cut into 2. There's nobody go around. Then you have parcel owners say, hey, why I never see guards anymore? It's not from us. It is from the MC decision to say, oh, I want to save this money. So in a sense that if people understand that we take instruction as an agent, in a way we are agent to a principal, then it makes our life easier in that sense. But of course, sometimes we couldn't do certain things that is illegal at the same time. There are MC who is just too gung ho and all that. Say, hey, block the access car, don't even come in, and don't even allow the car to come in. So that it's not allowable for. So we have a certain rules and certain roles to play. I think it's very important.
Okay. So I think thank you, Mr. Ao Yong, for sharing with us today. But
yeah, thank
before
you.
this, is there any question from the floor? Yeah, so that we can answer to you.
Yeah, Mr. Ao Yong, this is
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes, Kevin.
I have one question. I own a condo. Actually, it's a Soho, but I think it's the same. Been complaining the leaking. That's what you mentioned. Which I'm repeating. Of course, during the MCO until now. Okay. Complaining more than 6 months. Okay, but nobody really handling it. And been asking them and all that, so then I decided to stop to pay the maintenance. Okay, because when I complain, there is no feedback from them until I have no choice, which actually they have stopped my access card. But anyway, I don't care because actually is the unit is vacant. But on the day itself, I have to go into my unit just to do the inspection. I couldn't get in. And of course, I went down to the management to make some complaint. Okay, I say, look, I have complaints more than 6 months. Nobody even bothered to call me. Just keep sending me the statement. But I've been paying that until I've given up, because you're giving, of course, they are giving some excuses on the MCO and all that, which I understand. But after 6 months, nothing has been done. What is your advice?
Okay. I think, Mr. Kelvin, thanks for the question.
Yes.
Your situation is not totally foreign, I would say, but it won't happen in my condo under our care. So, so 6 months is a very long time.
To pay the maintenance is my responsibility, but nobody even bothered to respond. So what should I do?
Okay, your question, I can break it down into 2 issues. One is, the first one, of course, your leakage that affecting your unit should be addressed at a reasonable time. Of course, it's complicated by the fact that if there is a lockdown, but of course, a lockdown is not like 6 months. I would say it is urgent enough. Somebody should attend to you. There's the first attendance to your unit. They should come in and inspect your unit and determine.
Oh, they said they had inspected. Okay. Because after they inspected, no news. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or not? And until they lock out, no choice. But I can no choice. In fact, I have to go in already because somebody is going to rent my unit. So I say no. I only can pay you half. Okay, until you finish first.
So, well, if they have inspected, that's good. I think the first process is done. They have to tell you to determine where is the source of the leakage come from. Where's from
The
upstairs?
reason is like that. They say they check, they need to go up to check, but the problem is upper floor. I mean, yeah, the excuse is actually the upper unit also never answer. And open it. Okay, which I understand, but what can I do then? 6 months,
All right.
So this is my
You are
problem.
the one who suffer the damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are the person who suffer here. I would say. So what your next recourse? I suggest. Since you are in that situation, you have to be very objective and put all things in record, as in writing. First thing, of course, you have to make sure that your record is being filed with the management office. That's one. And secondly, you have to make sure also if you can do the repair, you should be able to do a repair and claim against whoever that caused the losses. Second recourse you can go to is you can file a report to the tribunal for claims against the whatever unit upstairs.
Of course, that I know that would be okay. That would be a big hassle to as a small.
I can understand that. But you may that's a recourse. It's just like both parties do not agree.
By the way, okay. So I solved my problem with using my hard knock system. My way, there's no choice. And the other way, so they solved my problem actually.
Oh, they did.
I did, but I have no choice. I have to become like a gangster way. Then they have to do it. No choice.
That one I cannot advise you, especially
but
in a
I
public
use
forum
my
like this.
No, of course there is another.
But maybe
this is the thing that I'm not saying not you. Some of the I understand where they're coming from. They couldn't get the owner and all that, but they at least the management office, they should actually advise like what you advise me, Nobody advised me. If not, then I have to go to the lawyer to do all this. This is a small issue.
Oh, you don't need. Next time you call us.
Yeah,
You call us. We can give you free advice. We're more than happy to help our residents or others people. That's why I say we want to do a meaningful job.
Yeah.
I appreciate they have more and more professional agents. I mean the management corporation.
Management company, yes.
That's very big. No, they have to give a good advice.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think
some of the management officers, it only left to only 2 clerks.
Oh.
You know what I mean? That is a problem.
Okay, and Asia Cap is the solution.
Okay, unfortunately, I'm not in a committee. There's a problem.
So you should. There's another way, Mr. Calvin. You say it rightfully. If you were to sit in the councils, you have a lot more control. It's just part of like politics. You are the cabinet ministers. You can make decision better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So okay, we said that was it happens, but it can be a joke, But anyway, so what should I do if, let's say, in facing this problem, if really cannot be solved?
Go for tribunal.
Yeah. Because you're correct. There's one way.
Okay, all right.
I think Mr. Kelvin, because of the time, so
okay,
we have to wrap this up.
Thank you for your question, Kevin. All right.
And for our audience on Facebook, okay, actually, other than going live on Facebook, we have audience listening in our Zoom as well. Yes. And today's topic is really interesting, and we get a lot of questions. So we take questions only from Zoom today. And if you need any help, you can comment on Facebook chat box, and we will attend to you.
Yes.
Okay. Right. And also thank you again, Mr. Ao Yong, for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Ao Yong.
Yeah. And this
I'm glad to
message,
have it here.
This message in a bottle series is brought to you by Proppy app. Please like and share our Facebook page and podcast. and get your Proppy app now. The first home and property-based Omni app in the world. Proppy app, where dreams come home.
All right, so wait no more. Let's go to our segment 3 now. Clubhouse Kiosk for some fun. Hey, Phillips. All right, have you noticed what's the festival that we are going to have in this week?
Of course, talking about holiday, sure I know one. Okay, it will be our Deepavali day on Thursday.
Yes, that's the Deepavali. So in conjunction with this festival, we have specially invite our friend Padma to join us now. Welcome, Padma.
Welcome.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, Philip. Hello, everyone.
Okay. Hi, Padma. I have a question. Actually, this is called Deepavali or Diwali. Actually, I'm always confused with this.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Actually, yeah. Okay, Deepavali and Diwali is actually it's a two. It's actually what we call this is actually Deepavali. The South Indians, they will actually call it as Deepavali, and the North Indian will actually call it as Diwali. And the meaning of Deepavali is actually it's a row of lighted lamps. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we would like to have an engagement with the audience. Okay, let our audience guess. Okay, anyone know what's the difference between these two or not? Okay, please type in the chat box.
I also Google. Okay, I actually found.
Facebook.
So what I found is the word Diwali is come from this Sanskrit word Deepavali, so which means a rows of lighted lamps. It's just Padma say. Yeah, so it's actually sounds different.
Yeah, so Padma, is that right? Can you share more about this with us?
Okay, I will. Okay, maybe I will explain a little bit more on this. Deepavali is also there is also another. It's also symbolized a victory of light over the darkness and good over the evil. At the same time, knowledge over the ignorance. And beside that, this festival is also associated with our goddess of wealth, whereby we believe during this festive season, she will come and blesses those houses which is clean. Yeah.
Deep meaning.
So yeah. So that's when my Deepavali, I will actually activate my Deepavali mode like 2 weeks before, whereby we like start cleaning and preparing cookies, shopping and all these things. Yeah.
Oh, so that is almost similar with us Chinese before Chinese New Year. We also get all the food, and then we also do cleaning, do all the food.
That's right. Also, some of us will do some baking also and start eating and start getting
Yes. to continue with that, actually, this month will be like a very joyful month for us because this is the period where we actually get to get together with our friends and family. So besides, of course, we will be enjoying a lot of good food and all these things. But of course, beside that, Marina's is actually I'll be like gaining extra weight. At the same time, my digestion system have to work extra harder this month.
Yeah, otherwise we all accumulate in the body. All right. Okay. So Padma, can you share with us about what will you do on Deepavali day?
Okay, so on Deepavali day, actually the hoo-ha will start like on the eve of Deepavali, whereby we will be doing a Thanksgiving prayer to our ancestor. And then on the Deepavali day, I'll wake up before the sunrise.
Before sunrise?
Yeah, before sunrise.
Around 4 o'clock, am I right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So we will have to wake up before sunrise so that for us to take an oil bath. We have to take oil bath with gingerly oil. Okay, the reason why we do this is actually because those our elders, right? We have been they brought up this practice because they believe on this auspicious day when we it's good because it gives a lot of health benefits. So
Oh, I
at
see.
the same time, we will be, or after that, we will be like wearing new clothes because there is a meaning to it because it's to mark a new beginning.
Mm.
So it's like Chinese New Year also the same, Hari Raya also the same. We will put on new clothes.
Yeah. Almost the
it's
same, I feel.
almost the same. Yeah.
How about the food side?
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, another important tradition that I would like to share here is actually we on that day we have to deep fry any sweets or savories which is by using a hot using a oil pan. So it's actually gives a significance that so that a good fortune and good luck will come in abundance.
Must be deep fry.
Yeah, deep fry.
Oh.
Yeah, deep fry the sweets or that. This is where the muruku will come into the picture.
Oh, muruku. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I like
yeah, of course, Diwali is not complete without the muruku.
It's very similar to Chinese New Year if we compare like this.
Oh
Yeah.
Okay, so for the food one, basically in the morning we will the whole day. It's a day like for me. It's a day where I enter the kitchen in the morning. I will be only out in the evening because we'll be like preparing breakfast.
Seriously.
Yeah, seriously. Lunch, dinner with all this luxurious food, delicious, yummy. Like for breakfast, we will have like dosa, idli.
Wow.
Yeah, and then for lunch is like biryani, mutton curry, chicken, fish. You just name it what you want. It will be served on that day.
Yeah,
Oh
on
my
the
God.
banana leaf. On the banana leaf.
Busy, man. You have to prepare so
Yeah,
many things.
exactly. Yeah, it's just like once a year event. So, but of course, this celebration mode will be like going on for a month. Because every weekend we will have invitation for an open house. So I say this month is gaining weight month.
Wow. The celebration is continued for months, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, for a month, every weekend.
Cannot imagine every weekend you have open house party. Wow, that's really gain weight, you know.
Very fun.
Because you have, we normally don't meet our uncle, auntie quite frequent. So the time where they will actually invite us or we invite them. So this is how we actually like see each other. Yeah.
The open house gathering, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Fatma, one question for me. When I go shopping mall, I always see a very nice decoration on the floor. Okay, when Deepavali is coming soon. So it's a kind of artwork made by colorful things. I'm not sure what is it. And what does it call?
Oh, okay.
This one.
It's nice. Okay, so actually, this is not just an artwork, actually, but we believe there is a meaning to it. Okay, for example, you can actually see most Indian houses, we will actually do this kolam at the entrance of the house during Deepavali day. Okay, because we believe there is a negative and positive energy in the air. So this kolam, when we do this kolam, it will actually absorb the negative energy from entering the home. Besides that, we also believe that when we do this kolam, the goddess of wealth, because when you see it's like so colorful and it's like so grace and it's like so happy, right? Yeah, she'll be like overwhelmed, and we believe that she will come to the house and she will bless us. Yeah, this is what we believe, lah.
I see. So that's the meaning behind the column, you call it.
Yes.
Column. Yeah.
Column.
Now only I know this called column. I'm
Column.
always column. I always wondering how this column artists make all these beautiful column, you know. Wow, especially those big piece one, the whole floor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of hard work.
How long do they
Easy to
take?
make,
That's right.
Yeah.
It's depending on the size, actually. So of course, like a small one, we can do it immediately. But of course, nowadays they have a lot of equipment that that will make you easier to make the kolam actually.
Mm.
I think maybe a bit hard, but nowadays it's quite easy. Yeah.
It's actually by flour or by rice, huh?
Okay, we have two types actually, but the actual meaning, okay, the rice is actually is the correct one now. But of course nowadays they come with all this flour and the colorful flour and all these things. So because the rice, we believe that all those ant and all these things, they will come and eat the rice, right? I mean, they will come and eat all the rice powder, you know. So it's actually like giving them food, that kind of thing, lah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. So before we end our session, Padma, do you have any message to our audience?
Yes. Thank you for having me here tonight. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish all our Hindu friends a happy Deepavali, have a safe and blessed celebration, and happy holiday to everyone.
Okay. Great.
Thank you, Padma.
Thank you. So, all right, our segment 3 Clubhouse Chaos has come to an end. Thank you, Padma, for joining us tonight, and also thank you, Mr. Aoyong, for sharing with us. And happy Deepavali. Happy Deepavali.
Yeah, so we would like to take this chance to wish all our Hindu friends out there happy Deepavali. Have a great and safe celebration with your loved one. All right, happy Deepavali, Padma.
Happy holiday.
Yeah, this message in a bottle series is brought to you by Proppy app. Please like and share our Facebook page and podcast, and download Proppy app, the first home and property-based Omni app in the world. Proppy app, where dreams come home. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Philip. Thanks for watching and listening to us. We'll see you again next week.
See you.